Future being on Drake's ICEMAN would be a big mistake.
As of March 12th, 2026. Duppy sigh.
Big facts. Is he on ICEMAN as it stands today, March 12th?
I just said March 12th, 2026.
He might be.
Okay.
I mean, I personally, the information I have on the album, it's
he's on the board. He's on the whiteboard.
He's
on the whiteboard.
Ideas.
There's a whiteboard.
Is it a parentheses, an asterisk? Like what's
ideas?
question mark?
Ideas are being created.
Yes,
Let's say that ideas are being created, have been created.
Did they write Future on the whiteboard or say Hendrix?
Well, no.
I prefer Hendrix.
I don't know about that, but I know ideas
or his full government
have been created. Ideas continue to be created. Ideas have been pivoted from.
Okay, got you.
So yeah.
What's up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. Keep sending those cash outs to CLBMG. Join that membership and all you buying that merch down below. Gang, listen, before we get started, I need you to go down in that description, hit that Temu link, support that channel, support this channel. You know you buy it, use my link to do it. So, this is kind of crazy, gang, and a lot of people have responded to this. There's all kind of moving pieces, but allegedly there's going to be a future feature on the vaunted, unreleased ICEMAN project, and none of you saw that coming, especially since the fact that Future's the one that set off the whole beef, gang. I don't know if you remember, but there was a little song called Like That. They actually got 2 albums in a row called We Don't Trust You, and they both aimed at Drake. So for some reason, Future is going to be allowed back in that circle, and they're probably going to make some new music, because I'm not going to even say it, but I know you're thinking that you're running to Atlanta, right? End of the day, it's that, and it's so much more. It's so much deeper than that. But I want to talk about this, and I think it would be a mistake. And you're going to say, Charles, ain't you the one that love these Jay-Z and Nas verses that they do together? You can't wait for them to actually interact and coexist. You love when you see these little videos of them talking on the phone and just being really cool people, right? They used to have a very vicious beef, which was even more vicious than this beef. Their beef was actually in the streets, and it was really a real problem because they didn't like each other, and they had really massive crews that was really ready to act on that. And somehow, some way, you guys went along with with Jay-Z and Nas actually standing on that stage and shaking hands and squashing that beef. You guys jumped up and down. You stomped your hands. You stomped your feet. You clapped your hands, and you were boogie oogie when Nas and Jay-Z they did Black Republicans and a couple other tracks, and they made hip-hop history together. So I know you old niggas ain't gonna sit and try to say Drake and Future making up and making amends. There's something wrong with that, and it's a quote-unquote big mistake. Explain that, right? I know you want me to explain that, but at the end of the day, let's talk about it. There's a whole lot of moving pieces, and yes, Jay-Z and Nas making up would be the equivalent of Drake and Future making up with less drama. Let's just be honest. There was less drama between them two than Nas and Future, but at the end of the day, this is a different time, and these Drake fans are different animals, and they are not forgiving. They want to live in a world where everybody that was causing issues stay over there. They don't want you coming back over here. And as you can see with a lot of these posts on Twitter, a lot of them are like, that's stupid. Why would you bring him back into the camp just for him to diss you again? And I agree. I'm 100% on board with what these Drake fans are saying, because the Nas and Jay-Z, they're mending their ways seemed more genuine than this. This seems like a matter of convenience. Let's just be honest. And maybe they are boys and shit like that and behind the scenes, but there was a lot more going on before they wrote the Like That verse, and before the nigga made 2 albums, We Just Don't Trust You. He just make one with Metro Boomin, who was all but enemies as well. And I dug up, I wanted to answer the question why they was even beefing in the first place. I'm gonna get to that. So I went and dug up a gossipy answer and a more traditional answer from Google. So I want to talk about that too. I got all that going. I got an article I want to read from. So there's a lot going on. But the first things first, you want to say, Charles, you and a whole lot of other these content creators, you sniffing around talking about Future gonna be on the album. You don't know shit. Ain't nobody told you nothing. And Academics himself has clowned this as conjecture and falsitudes and this, that, and the third. So what I'm saying is this: you know how I know that this is real? Not because DJ Head said it, and not because who else was the one that said it? Let me get to this article. But DJ Head said it, and who was it? B or Button. Somebody else said it. But end of the day, not because of that. Why I believe it is because Maul is pretty much not saying that it's not true. And Maul would have already went up in arms that this wasn't true. And when they asked Maul about it, Maul was very coy and was like, it could be. So right there, we know it's true. We know he got the updated version of this album and Future's already on. Oh, he got the word that they're working on some shit. You got to think, this guy got a lot riding on this gang. And a lot of the stuff we've been hearing ain't been up to snuff. A lot of these snippets, this, that, and the third, they don't sound like what they're going to need. So you're going to need some new songs, right? And I'm not going to say it. I told you I'm not going to say it, but you thinking it. You run to Atlanta, so where else would he go? I'm already certain that he's already in contact with a couple of these guys from over there, 21 and this, that, and the third. It's other guys that's going to be involved with the project. So why not go get Hendrix, right? End of the day, he needs them. We need you. He need them, gang. He needs some sauce. He needs somebody to come in, listen to them joints, tune them up a little bit, say, not this, that, and the third. He need them Kanye sessions where a lot of guys come in and start giving a whole lot of ideas and start pushing things a better way, a cooler way, a little more with it, a little more up into the times, right? He needs a little more sauce, and it makes sense to step out with this guy. But the reason I say it's a mistake is because one thing he's been lining up this album to do was going to be crashing out and getting revenge on all his fans. All his enemies and foes. Everybody that had something crazy to say for his fans, he was going to get them back and clap them up. And you know how he came out on that tour with that smoke coming out them jackets and them jeans, all them holes in his outfit, and he was supposedly got shot up, but he survived. Well, Future was one of the ones shooting at him, right? End of the day, no matter how softly he shot, right? Remember that scene in was it Harlem Nights where it was Arsenio Hall and a couple other guys shooting all these big giant guns into this storefront. I believe it was a storefront that was owned by the mob, and then the one guy, as soon as the shells would stop, he would pull out his teeny ass gun and shoot it one time, pop. And then they would go back to shooting more. And then when they stopped, he would pull out his teeny ass gun again and shoot one time, pop. Well, that was Future with that teeny ass gun. End of the day, he's still shooting. So he was shooting right at you. So that's why a lot of his fans are confused. But end of the day, a lot of people are speculating, but the one that sold me on it was that Maul didn't crash out. Academics did. So that proves once again that Academics is not in the loop. The last motherfucker that this guy tells shit is Academics. So Academics was going crazy talking about these guys don't know who they do. The DJ Head, he's calling them all kind of names, this, that, and the third. And at the end of the day, when Maul sat there and was like, he could be, I said, well, that's it. That's confirmation. Future's on this thing. But I brought up Jay-Z and Nas for a reason, because we sat there and we watched one of the biggest beefs in history end up being squashed. These dudes shook hands and has been good friends for years after that, right? Nas even playfully made a jab at Jay, said, sometimes I call Hov saying this shit ain't over. He said it's joking, right? He said years later that he sometimes he listens to Ether, he listens to them songs just like we all do, and he relives the moment. And he says, yo, it was a lot of shit I should have said this, that, and the third. It's all water under the bridge because we accepted that. Why can't we accept this? For one, they haven't publicly shown us that it's real. We've only heard from a few sources that it's real, and we don't know how you could come back from this if you haven't shown the world that you even care in the slightest about this guy. We're still stuck in, most of us who were there when this battle started, we're stuck in those verses that was said against these guys. And he really did say in the song that we ain't really had much going on, but you did, because this guy sat there and actively, you got to understand, gang, it's called collusion. He collusion and whatever you want to call it. He colluded with these guys to bring you down. This with a 20v1. He's one of the 20 in the V's, right? So at the end of the day, this guy was a problem to you. So if you don't publicly let niggas know, you just come out and bust out with a song, ha, look who's back. Like, it's going to sound weird. You guys haven't made no amends publicly. I saw the video where he was very, Future was very cryptic and coy about it. Basically like, what beef? I don't know what we beef about. So he tried to make it like it really was no problem. So we knew that, it's over. Whatever they had going on, it's over. So he didn't say it, and nobody's talking about it, but people started to put two and two together like they're being very coy about each other, so they must have kicked it behind the scenes. But I want to have this conversation, first things first, of why the Jay-Z situation with Nas, we looked at that differently, because that was getting very, very violent, and that was going to get bad. That was going nowhere fast. And at the end of the day, the thing was over. These two dudes came out like men, right? Nas ended up signing with Jay-Z on Def Jam. So we saw a pattern of them guys healing and becoming better people. And we saw that a lot of that stuff that they was beefing about really wasn't that strong. It was petty shit. it was little miscommunications, and this guy didn't show up to the video shoot, and that guy thought he subbed him, and it turned into this thing where now it's over about who got more in common. Get it, more in common. Now they over a girl. It turned into all the same shit that these guys got going on. But at the end of the day, we physically saw these guys openly say, okay, it's squashed, we're moving on, da-da-da-da-da. We got time to accept that, right? This one is different. This one led to a very brutal war. And let's just be honest, if we're gonna really call Drake's history, a lot of the wars he got into was for other fucking people. Let's just be honest. So he got into the thing with Pusha T over Wayne. And then he got into this thing with Kendrick over Future. The Future went and called Future, and Metro got him on this. Future and Metro called K. Dot and got him on that record, and this led to a whole war that still ain't over to this day. It's worse than it ever was. So this was Future dragged him into this. The Pusha T thing, Wayne ain't drag him into it, but he jumped in to defend Wayne. And the Meek Mill shit came in. Somebody sent Homeboy some reference tracks, and Meek got mad because he didn't post his song, this, that, and the third. He got dragged into the shit off somebody sending reference tracks to Meek. So it's a whole lot of shit, right? Who was it? DJ Drama. I don't know who gave Meek the reference track. End of the day, a lot of other people dragged him in. He never asked for these beefs, but he got them. And these beefs have consequences. Now he made it with Meek. You're gonna say, well, Charles, he made it with Meek, and we saw where it happened. They made music, da da da. Now, didn't make it with Pusha, the actual ones that did the rapping, right? He didn't, damn sure ain't gonna make it with K. Dot, the ones that did the rapping. So the thing with Future, people's confused because they're like, bro, at the end of the day, I get it that you made it with Meek, this, that, and the third, but Meek never really dissed you. Like, let's be honest, like Meek said what they said, da da da. And once the battle got going, once he beat him with back to back, Meek came out with some shit so weak, I don't even remember what he did. I don't even remember what he said. So it was never no crazy shit, right? And this thing with Pusha, that was bad, and the thing with Dot was bad. But this thing with Future now, Future didn't really diss him either, but he was a part of it. So you're going to say, well, Charles, he should be able to forgive him. And I'm going to tell you why it's a mistake. Because the simple fact, how you going to have a whole victim album where you're going to be talking about what everybody did to you, which we know is coming. We know a lot of shit. Like, oh, this, that, and the third, you're going to be complaining and crying about who did what to who. Well, you can't really have that album because now you can make up with everybody on there if you made up with the guy who started the shit. If you make up with him, if you have all this victim rap on that album, and then track 7 is this nigga on there that was part of the 20v1, it's gonna be very confusing. It's gonna be very confusing. I thought this was the Get Back album. How you gonna have all this Get Back when you got one of the guys that you need to get on the goddamn album? It ain't gonna really make no sense. People gonna be confused, like, ruh-roh. They're gonna be mad confused that you brought in the enemy, you brought him in the studio, and you made a record or two. But then you got other songs on here where you're surely going to be subbing the people who spawned from that battle. Let's imagine the guy who spawned the battle doesn't take none of the shots that's clearly meant for everybody that spawned in the battle. He spawned in first. He made the whole team. He made the 20 that's supposed to be V1ing, right? So at the end of the day, this guy's like the damn near ringleader of the shit. Did he turn good? This guy's Magneto, right? He made the whole shit. Then out of nowhere, he came back and became, let's piece it up. I thought there was no piecing it up. It's a mistake in my opinion, but let's be honest. You're going to say, Charles, how is it ever a mistake to forgive somebody? Okay. It's not a mistake to forgive nobody. But then you got to say, you got to forgive everybody. I'm just going to be honest. How you going to still be mad at Metro? I guarantee you, I think something going on with Metro too, because he sound like he's softened his stand too. So he might have Metro beats. He might have this guy. So now they're going to show Atlanta unity, right? Now guess what? Now it's a boogeyman in the room. So how you going to piece it up with these two? You still mad at the little guy. You still mad at K. Dot. How you going to be mad at him and others, right? It's a couple still mad at Ross, unless I think Ross is trying to weasel his way back in. And to me, I'm just going to be honest. At some point, we're not standing on no more game. Like, why we even beef in the first place if all you guys just gonna piece it up in 2 years later and everybody's kumbaya? Y'all said some heinous shit about this man. Let's just be honest. Called him a white boy, this, that, and the third. So I don't know if all of this piecing it up is gonna be good for hip hop to a degree, but at the same time, it's gonna be like, what was this whole shit for? Like, what did we have this whole battle and this whole brouhaha? The dude brought out 2 albums, made a lot of money off dissing you. He put everybody on it. The Weeknd was on it. Everybody that ever had something to say about the motherfucker got on the album. Where's the accountability? And at the end of the day, he gonna have to apologize to homeboy fans too. You can't just pop up on the record, like you just doing your shit, and you go back to your normal life. His fans gonna be like, yo, where's our apology? Because we fucking rode for this guy for 2 years straight. Come out and now you good with him? it's going to be really confusing. They're going to have something to say. So you're going to have to make amends to them too. They're going to want answers like, why'd you do it in the first place? What's the problem? So I said, you know what is the problem? I went and looked, right? I said, let me go find out what this problem actually is. And I got 2 answers. One is on the Drake Reddit, right? And I thought this one was kind of interesting. I said, you know what? I'm going to read that one. I'm not going to take that one for law, but I'm going to read that one so we can have an understanding. Then I did the Google one, which going to have more stuff that you can pinpoint and say, da-da-da. But this is kind of interesting. You guys that know these things about Drizzy and Metro and Future, you can tell me if this sound right. So I went on the Drake Reddit, and it said, I end up in there a lot, believe it or not, sadly, gang. Sometimes it just, the links take you there, and you just got to read the little shit, because these guys be on some bullshit. But let me finish. It says, explain like I'm 5. Why does Future have beef with Drake? I kind of get the Kendrick stuff from Control Verse, but even that's just silly to me. But what happened with Future and Metro and Drake? When did that start? So here we go. This is the little Drake Reddit answer, and let's see what they got to say. The answer: this is only speculation, of course, but the timing makes sense. Drake signed his new deal, requires five albums, big bonus per album. Drake tells Future, we gonna do What a Time to Be Alive 2 as part of the 5. It's a big payday for Future. I believe that Drake got Future's first #1, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I believe that's true. Metro and Drake beef due to pillow talking around trans time. Drake says he doesn't want to do What a Time to Be Alive 2 anymore because Metro produced the first one. Does her loss with 21. 21 gets a big check and another album and a tour run. That's where the beef starts. So this guy is speculating that the pillow talking around trans, and then the trans thing didn't happen, whatever. And that's when Drake said, I don't want to do What a Time to Be Alive. And that pissed Future off. And that's a whole problem. That's where this thing began for this person. Now, let me read the Google answer and see what's going on. So Google says the beef between Future and Drake primarily stems from a mix of personal loyalty, alleged romantic rivalry, and professional competition. Sound like a little bit more of what the person was saying at first, a little bit more spice on it. While they were longtime collaborators, their relationship fractured in early 24 when Future teamed up with Metro Boomin for the album We Don't Trust You, which featured Kendrick Lamar diss track like that. It was before that because we just heard what Homeboy said, and there was a lot of other grumblings. I remember a thing about Future had a video that Drake was supposed to come to the shoot and didn't make it to the shoot. Now he felt the way about that, and that started some shit. So the Google not gonna know all that, but I do remember hearing that he was like, I came and showed up for yours, and you wasn't there for mine, and it hurt, right? It is what it is. But let me continue. Here are the key factors that contributed to their fallout. 1. Loyalty to Metro Boomin. Metro's personal issue. Metro Boomin had a long-standing personal issue with Drake that left him feeling disappointed and hurt. Future, who has a deep history with Metro dating back to his career defining run in 2014 to 2016, chose to stand by his producer. Drake later rapped in Family Matters that Future's participation is likely influenced by Metro. Quote, Leland Wayne, he a fucking lame, so I know he had to be an influence. So that right there is basically saying that they feel that Metro is part of the Future situation. A lot of people feel like Metro wouldn't even have had any beef with him, real beef, to go at him if it wasn't for Metro pulling the strings on it. Let me get it. Let me continue. Number 2, the pillow talk and rumors over a woman. Lyrics and speculation. On the track, We Don't Trust You, Future included lines about pillow talking and fake friends, leading fans to speculate the rift was over a shared love interest. It's back to these girls, gang. Most of these beefs and this rap shit be traced back to girls and rumors of girls, and the girl went here and did that, and she said this, and you told her that. All of this shit goes back to the beginning of rap. It's always over these girls, man. You guys got to do better. Let me continue. Drake's response. Fans pointed to Drake's earlier track, What Would Pluto Do, as a potential jab where he raps about sleeping with a woman because it's what Pluto, Future's nickname, would do. That's the number 2 reason. Number 3, personal friction. Collaborative snubs. Reports suggest Future felt slighted when Drake chose to release a full-length collaboration album with 21 Savage called Her Loss. That's what the other homeboy said in the Drake subreddit or Reddit, whatever you want to call it. Instead of a highly anticipated sequel to his and Future's 2015 classic, What a Time to Be Alive. Now, honestly, for them not to do that, there has to be a reason. There is a reason why you wouldn't follow up a smash record like that, especially when you told them we was going to do part 2, and I believe they announced it publicly. So something happened. Let me continue. Touring and awards. Tension also rose over Metro Boomin's public frustration regarding award show snubs for his album Heroes and Villain in favor of Drake and 21 Savage's project. So the current status, according to Google, the beef is squashed. In November 2024, reports surfaced that sources like journalists Elliot Wilson and Drake and Future had finally spoken on the phone and resolved their differences. While the two artists appear to have moved past their issues, Metro Boomin was reportedly not a part of this reconciliation. These articles explore the alleged reasons behind the Future and Drake beef, including loyalty to Metro Boomin, romantic rivalry, and professional competition. So basically, it's not the same little shit. It's over and over. It doesn't seem like anything's changing about that. But let me get to the actual article. Let me see. I got this up here somewhere. Ba 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 ba. Bada bing. Bada boom. Future's feature on Drake's upcoming ICEMAN is all but confirmed. This is by Gabriel Braz Navarez on hotnewhiphop.com. I believe this is happening. When I first saw the story break, I said, how do they know? This is just as two random people saying that it's coming. End of the day, they have no real way of knowing this. And why would this leak? Because this is very important. But at the end of the day, when I saw that Maul was saying it might happen, at that point, I knew it was something to it. So let me read this. With Drake's ICEMAN arriving any day now, Rory and Maul's latest discussion has fans bringing up Future again, despite the artist beef. The great battle of 2024 still has legs somehow, and nobody's feeling that pressure like Drake right now. His new album, ICEMAN, is coming out soon, and many fans now believe that one of his enemies from that year, Future, will actually be featured on the track list. Amid these rumors, the latest episode of the Rory and Maul podcast has diehards even more curious. Oh yeah, it was Charlemagne. It was Charlemagne the God that said he got wind of it. He was like more or less just unfazed by it, but he said it. And then DJ Head came out and said he must have heard the same thing I heard because I heard the same thing that Future's going to be on there. So let me continue. Many fans now believe that one of his enemies from that year, Future, will actually be on the track list. Amid these rumors, the latest episode of the new Rory and Maul podcast has diehard fans even more curious. As caught by Joe Budden Clips fan page on Twitter, Rory asked Maul to confirm if the speculation was true per his knowledge. Quote, he might be, he answered. The information I have on that album, ideas are being created, have been created. I know ideas continue to be created. Ideas have been pivoted from. It's just a fact. Ideas are being created. The album is being fleshed out. It's still a process. That's all. That right there tells me, instead of Maul saying, I don't know, I don't give a fuck. I ain't no fuck with. Instead of him reacting in the normal, thick-headed Maul way, he acted in a more way where he had to kind of eat it. He couldn't act like he didn't know because he does know. He heard some kind of way that this is happening. He probably had time to process it and sit there and grab a blankie and a bobo and just take a whole day off from work and figure it out. But he probably laid what he sat with it. Took his time, and now he's okay with it. That Future's going to be on there, and it's going to be 19v1 instead of the 20v1 like they've been saying. So he's already got accustomed to this being a thing. So he was pretty calm about it. That's what makes me think this is real. Let me continue. He said, I don't think it's far-fetched that they may work together again. Music is exponentially better when these guys are cool. Rory strongly agreed. This is Rory talking, but I don't think Rory got the inside or he's trying to play coy. But Maul allegedly, a lot of shit Maul says, but Maul can be wrong too because a couple times Maul was told this, that, and the third, and Drake has pulled back, so we'll see what happens. Drake could actually delete the shit just so people won't be right, but then now he right back in trouble with Future. So at this point, if he worked with Future in any kind of way, that shit will be on there because right now he's trying to make amends, and if he do some music with him and leave it off the album, it's going to be really tough for him to show his face in Atlanta again. I'm just going to be honest. Let me continue. Will this actually pan out? We'll have to wait to find out for sure. Of course, the most notable aspect of this potential collaboration is Future and Drake's previous beef. After all, it was Pluto's Like That track with Metro Boomin that featured Kendrick Lamar, whose verse set it off in 2024. However, there have been rumors that the What a Time to Be Alive duo squashed their beef behind the scenes. Drizzy himself claimed that they never really went through it on Family Matters, instead of pointing the blame to people around him like Metro. Still, these rumors about Drake and Future remain unconfirmed at press time, no matter which ones you're talking about. While things don't necessarily look mortally combative between them, it's not all peaches and cream either. As such, maybe this hypothetical ICEMAN feature will be the strongest proof yet that they have put their differences beside them. Fetch even seemed to send some lyrical shots at the Sixth God on that we don't trust you with Metro. So it's not just about associations. Are Rory and Maul right, or will we see this reunion? Listen, I think that this is already happening. Too many people have heard about it for it not to be true, and too many people that was spazzed out. The only person spazzed out, again, like I said, was Academics. He went nuts, going crazy that these guys don't know nothing. But once again, Academics, he's been putting his foot in his mouth every other week, especially in regards to Drake. He'll come out and staunchly say this, that, and the third, to the point he'll sound so ridiculous that he'll have to be quiet for a couple of days when it don't be what he said it was going to be. Or Drake out and out lied to him. I did a whole video last year when Drake, more than one time, Drake out and out lied to him and he said it wasn't him when that Academics TV got hacked. And they scrolled down and showed all this coordinates and all this conversations between Drake and Academics TV. And Drake called Academics and told him that shit was AI. It wasn't true. Academics went out there, exposed himself, said, that's AI. The shit's fake. The boy called me and told me himself. And within a matter of moments, they came out with all the receipts showing that it was not AI. And in fact, it really was Drake in cahoots with the Academics TV, which now they're in a lawsuit. They got a civil RICO against Academics TV. The runner of Academics TV, George Wynn, and Drake's name, along with stake in a multi-million-dollar lawsuit that's going to just it's going to trickle down, and as they get more people to enter the civil suit, it's going to get bigger and bigger. So he does have contact with Academics TV, and Academics does run interference for him, but a lot of times Academics will be wrong. So I'm not taking Academics' word on this. I'm going to go ahead with the other three people who are saying it's true, and I'm going by how coy Future's acting about it and how Drake is desperate need to make this album work. So I believe that it's going to happen, but I think it's a mistake because you're going to alienate some of your own fans by doing so. Listen, man, I'm out of here, man. I don't have nothing to say about this. CLBMG, head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. They ship all over the continental U.S. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on the West Show. Me, TJ, and Fliz, lock in. Tap in around 9:15, 9:30. All my social media platforms. Getting that description link, hit that Temu link, hit that DistroKid link, hit that ReStream link. If you like the channel, support the channel. Tap into the video we got called This, That, Me, TJ, and Fliz, We Balking. It's a new album called The What Project on all streaming platforms. Lock in. Get in the comments. Let me know what you think, man. I'm out of here. I'm going to catch you on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard, put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking, and all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like Pats fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face, and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.